Commander Minjun Park stood at the viewing window of Harmony's Gate, watching the Krell ships approach Earth's orbital station. The vessels were large and covered in dark metal plates that looked menacing against the stars. Minjun had seen ships like these before, though never this close to Earth. He knew what they wanted before they even sent their message. The Krell delegation arrived exactly on schedule. 6 warriors in heavy armor walked through the airlock, their reptilian faces showing no emotion. Their leader, a massive creature with scars across his scales, stepped forward and spoke without greeting. "I am War Chief Drexen of the Krell Dominion. We have come to offer Earth our protection services. The galaxy is dangerous. Many threats exist. We can ensure your safety for a reasonable price." Minjun smiled politely and gestured toward the conference room. "Please, let's discuss this comfortably. Would you like refreshments?" Drexen's eyes narrowed. "We do not need comfort. We need your answer. Every cycle you delay costs additional resources." Inside the conference room, Lieutenant Seo Yun Kim sat quietly at the side, her tablet ready. She had worked with Minjun for 5 years and knew his expressions well. The slight crinkle at the corner of his eyes meant he found something amusing. She wondered if the Krell noticed. Drexen spread a holographic display across the table. It showed dozens of star systems, each marked with Krell symbols. "These worlds pay us for protection. They are safe. They prosper. Those who refused..." He pressed a button, and several systems turned red. "They experienced unfortunate events. Pirates, accidents, system failures. Very sad." "I see," Minjun said, his voice calm. "And what exactly does this protection cost?" "For a world like Earth, we require 20% of your annual resource production. Mining materials, processed metals, energy cells, standard rate." Minjun leaned back in his chair. 20%. That is quite substantial." "It is fair," Drexen said. "Consider the alternative." That was when Minjun laughed. It was not a nervous laugh or a polite chuckle. It was genuine amusement, the kind that came from hearing something unexpectedly funny. Seo Yun watched the Krell warriors tense, their hands moving toward their weapons. "Is something amusing about our offer?" Drexen's voice dropped lower, a clear threat. Minjun wiped his eyes and composed himself. "Forgive me. I apologize for my reaction. But I must ask, have you done any research about Earth, about humans, about what we actually do in this galaxy? We know you are a young species, barely 200 years in space. You have no major military victories, no conquered territories. You are merchants and explorers. Weak." Drexen stood, his full height impressive and intimidating. "Do not mistake our offer for negotiation. We are informing you of reality. Pay or suffer consequences." Minjun's smile faded. He stood as well, though he was much smaller than the Krell war chief. "I see. Then I must request 24 hours to consult with my government. Surely you can grant us that much time to consider such an important decision." Drexen studied him for a long moment. 24 hours. "Then we return for your tribute or your submission." The Krell delegation turned and marched out of the conference room, their heavy boots echoing in the corridor. As soon as the airlock sealed behind them, Seo Yun turned to Minjun. "Sir, should I activate the protocols?" "Yes. Protocol 7. Contact everyone on the list." "All of them?" "Every single one. And Seo Yun, use priority channels. They need to know immediately." Seo Yun's fingers flew across her tablet. She sent out messages marked with urgent codes, each one traveling to different parts of the galaxy. The messages were brief but clear. "Krell Dominion has threatened Earth. Protection protocols activated. Requesting immediate response." Minjun walked back to the viewing window and watched the Krell ships take position around Earth. They formed a blockade pattern, classic intimidation tactics. He pulled up his personal communication device and sent a single message to Galactic Council headquarters. The Krell have made their move. You may want to observe what happens next. On Earth below, Dr. Ji-Woo Choi received the alert at her office in Geneva. She was the director of an organization most people had never heard of, the Human Protection Initiative. The name sounded small and local, but the reality was very different. She opened her secure files and began reviewing data. The first file was labeled Active Protectorates and listed 247 species. Next to each name were details: defensive capabilities trained, technology provided, cultural exchange programs, economic support agreements. Every single one had been helped by humans in secret. The second file was labeled Intervention History and contained thousands of reports. Each one detailed a situation where humanity had stepped in to protect a weaker species from aggression, never openly, never demanding credit. Always quietly, always effectively. Ji-Woo opened a third file, this one about the Krell Dominion specifically. She read through reports from the Delphini, an aquatic species the Krell had conquered 15 years ago, except they had not really conquered them. Human special operations teams had arrived disguised as traders immediately after the Krell left. They taught the Delphini how to fight in their underwater cities, how to use their natural advantages, how to resist. There were similar reports about the Lithar, crystalline beings who the Krell thought paid tribute for decades. Human engineers had helped them develop shielding technology that made their worlds nearly impossible to invade. The tribute payments had been fake, theater to keep the Krell satisfied while the Lithar grew strong. The Verdani report was Ji-Woo's favorite. The Krell believed the Verdani had abandoned 3 colonies in fear. In truth, human ships had evacuated every single Verdani civilian to safety, then helped them establish new, hidden colonies the Krell never found. The abandoned worlds had been deliberate bait, worthless rocks the Krell wasted resources occupying. Ji-Woo began preparing a presentation, not a plea for mercy, not a desperate defense. Evidence. A comprehensive record of what humanity actually did in the galaxy when bullies like the Krell appeared. Her communication console lit up with incoming messages. The first was from the Delphini Council. "We received your alert. Our fleet is already moving. We will be there in 18 hours. Another message from the Lithar Assembly. "The Krell threatened our protectors. This will not stand. 15 battle groups en route." The Verdani message was simple. "Those who saved us need no saving, but we come anyway. 12 hours. More messages poured in. Species after species, all responding to Earth's alert. All of them former Krell victims. All of them ready to help humanity. Ji-Woo smiled and sent a message back to Min-Jun. "They are coming. All of them. The Krell chose the wrong species to threaten." Above Earth, the Krell fleet detected unusual readings at the edge of the solar system. Ships were arriving, but they were not moving toward Earth. They were forming a perimeter around the Krell vessels instead. Drexen studied the sensor data and dismissed it. Probably Earth's pathetic allies, coming to beg for mercy alongside the humans. He had no idea what was actually happening. The galaxy was about to teach the Krell Dominion a lesson they would never forget. War Chief Drexen stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Conqueror's Fang, and felt satisfied. The Krell fleet had taken perfect positions around Earth. 12 heavy cruisers formed a blockade that no ship could pass. Any attempt to flee or fight would be crushed instantly. This was how conquest worked. This was how the Krell had built their dominion. "Status report," Drexen commanded. His tactical officer, a younger Krell named Vex, checked his displays. "All ships in position, War Chief. No hostile movements from Earth. Their defense fleet remains docked at their stations. They are clearly afraid." Drexen nodded. This was normal. Every species reacted the same way when facing Krell power. Fear led to submission. Submission led to tribute. Tribute led to Krell wealth and influence. The pattern never changed. He thought about his previous conquests. The Delphini had been pathetically easy. Their aquatic world had no space military worth mentioning. When the Krell fleet arrived, their government surrendered within hours. They paid tribute for years without complaint. Weak creatures who valued survival over honor. The Lithar had been slightly more challenging. Their crystalline cities were beautiful but fragile. The Krell had destroyed one city as demonstration. The others immediately agreed to pay tribute. They still paid as far as Drexen knew, another successful acquisition. The Verdani had actually tried to resist at first. They evacuated 3 colonies rather than fight. Drexen had found that amusing. Running away was not resistance. It was cowardice. The Krell occupied those empty colonies and claimed victory. The Verdani continued to exist somewhere in the galaxy, broken and scattered. A perfect example of what happened to those who defied the Krell. Earth would be the same. The humans would realize they could not win. They would pay their tribute. Perhaps they would resist at first, make brave speeches, pretend they had options. But in the end, survival instinct always won. Every species chose life over pride. "War Chief," Vex said, his voice uncertain. "Sensors are detecting new contacts at the system's edge. Earth's allies? Unknown. The signatures are varied. Multiple species. They are not approaching Earth." Drexen studied the tactical display. Strange. Usually, when allies arrived, they rushed to defend their partner. These ships were maintaining distance, forming some kind of perimeter. "How many ships?" "Current count is 37. No, 42. Still increasing." "Increasing? From where?" "Multiple jump points, War Chief. They are arriving from different directions." Vex's voice carried a hint of concern now. "Updated count, 61 ships," Drexen growled. "Identify them." The tactical officer worked his console, analyzing the ship signatures. His eyes widened. "War Chief, I recognize some of these signatures. That formation on the left. Those are Delphini war cruisers." "Impossible. The Delphini have no military fleet. They pay us tribute to avoid building one." "The signatures match perfectly, and those crystalline vessels, they match Lithar design specifications." Drexen felt something unfamiliar, a cold sensation in his chest. "The Lithar pay us tribute. Why would they be here?" "I do not know, War Chief. But there are more. Verdani scout ships, dozens of them, and species I do not recognize at all." The communication console activated without warning. A human face appeared on the screen, an older woman with gray hair and calm eyes. She spoke in clear galactic common language. "Krell Fleet, this is Dr. Jiwoo Choi of Earth. I am transmitting coordinates for a conference. We strongly suggest you attend. All parties involved in this situation will be present," Drexen snarled. "We do not take suggestions from tribute species. You have 18 hours remaining to accept our terms." "You misunderstand," Jiwoo said. "This is not a negotiation about tribute. This is an educational session. You are about to learn something very important about the galaxy. Coordinates transmitted. We will see you in 2 hours." The screen went dark. Vex checked his console. "War Chief, the ship count is now over 100. They are completely surrounding our fleet." "Surrounding us? They should be defending Earth." "Yes, War Chief, but they are not. They have created a perimeter with us at the center. We are contained." Drexen had never experienced this before. In every previous conquest, allies either fled or charged forward in doomed attacks. They never surrounded the Krell fleet. It made no tactical sense unless they were planning something specific. Another message arrived, this one from the Delphini council leader. Drexen recognized the aquatic creature from years ago when it had tearfully agreed to pay tribute, but now its expression was different, confident, almost happy. "War Chief Drexen, we have been waiting for this moment. The humans asked us to send a message. They want you to know that we are not afraid of you anymore. We have not been afraid for a very long time. You just did not know it." Before Drexen could respond, another transmission came through. A Lithar representative, its crystalline body gleaming. "The tribute we paid you was worthless material, rocks and common minerals. We gave you garbage, while our real resources built defenses you never imagined. The humans taught us how to deceive you. They are very good teachers." A third transmission, this one from a Verdani elder. "Those colonies you think you conquered? Empty wastelands. We evacuated every civilian with human help. You wasted years occupying worthless rocks while we built new homes you never found. Human ships kept us safe. Human wisdom kept us hidden." Drexen felt rage building. "How dare you! We crushed you! We defeated you!" The Verdani elder laughed. "You defeated no one. You claimed empty victories while the humans actually protected us. They gave us strength, knowledge, and hope. All while you celebrated conquests that never happened." Vex's voice interrupted. "War Chief, the ship count is now 217. All of them are former species we conquered, or thought we conquered." Drexen stared at the tactical display. Every species the Krell had intimidated was here. The Delphini, who supposedly had no fleet. The Lithar, who supposedly paid tribute. The Verdani, who supposedly scattered. All of them had ships. All of them seemed organized. All of them were working together. "How is this possible?" Drexen asked, but he already knew the answer. The humans. Jiwoo's face appeared on the screen again. "War Chief Drexen, the conference begins in 90 minutes. During that time, we will explain what humanity actually does in this galaxy. We will show you records, testimonies, and evidence. You will learn that Earth is not a weak species to be exploited. We are protectors. We have been protecting these species from you for decades." "You lie. They pay us tribute. They performed theater to keep you satisfied while growing strong. We taught them that strategy. We taught them many things. Defense, deception, courage, everything they needed to be safe from bullies." Drexen's claws dug into his command console. "We are not bullies. We provide security." "You provide threats disguised as protection. That ends today. Attend the conference, War Chief. Learn the truth. Or remain ignorant while 247 species explain it to you slowly." Jiwoo's image disappeared. Vex spoke quietly. "War Chief, what are your orders?" Drexen looked at the tactical display. His 12 ships surrounded by 217 vessels, every species he thought he controlled, now showing strength he never suspected, all of them connected to Earth. All of them trained by humans. For the first time in his military career, War Chief Drexen considered the possibility that the Krell Dominion had made a terrible mistake. The conference room on Harmony's Gate had been expanded to accommodate representatives from dozens of species. War Chief Drexen entered with 4 guards, their weapons clearly visible. He expected to see frightened humans begging for mercy. Instead, he found a room full of faces he recognized, species the Krell had conquered years ago, all of them looking at him with expressions ranging from satisfaction to barely concealed anger. Commander Min-Jun Park stood at the head of the table. "War Chief Drexen, thank you for attending. Please sit. We have much to discuss." "I will stand. Explain this gathering." "Why are my tributary species here?" A Delphini representative rose from the specially designed water tank that served as their seat. Her name was Council Leader Nami, and Drexen remembered her from 15 years ago. She had been terrified then, signing the tribute agreement with shaking appendages. Now she looked calm and strong. "We are not your tributary species, Drexen. We never were. Let me explain what really happened on my world." Nami activated a holographic display. "This is footage from the day after you left our planet. See that merchant vessel arriving? Those were not merchants. They were human special operations teams. The hologram showed humans in civilian clothing meeting with Delphini officials. Then it changed to underwater scenes of humans teaching Delphini how to fight, how to use their aquatic environment as an advantage, how to organize defensive networks. You thought we were weak because we live underwater, Nami continued. The humans saw opportunity. They taught us that our oceans were perfect defensive terrain. They helped us build underwater weapons platforms you could never detect. They trained our people to be warriors who could strike and disappear into the depths. Drexen's eyes narrowed. You paid tribute. We received it. You received worthless materials, common minerals from asteroids processed to look valuable. While you celebrated your tribute, we used our real resources to build defenses. The humans taught us that deception is a valid strategy when facing stronger enemies. A Lithar representative spoke next, its crystalline body refracting light across the room. I am Assembly Speaker Kai. You destroyed one of our cities as demonstration. We surrendered immediately. Do you remember? Yes. You were wise to submit. We were wise to survive. One city of 10,000 lives lost, but 3 million Lithar lived in other cities. The humans arrived days later. Kai displayed more holograms. They brought engineers who understood crystal technology better than we did. They helped us develop shielding that makes our cities nearly indestructible now. They taught us patience and planning. The tribute you received from us was engineered crystal, yes, but flawed crystal, worthless for advanced technology. We sent you garbage while keeping our perfect crystals for defensive systems. You built monuments from our tribute. We built shields that could stop your weapons. Drexen felt his anger rising. And the Verdani? You ran away like cowards. A Verdani elder stood, her plant-like body swaying gently. I am Elder Hana. We evacuated 3 colonies. You thought we abandoned them in fear. Let me show you what actually happened. The hologram changed to show human transport ships arriving at Verdani colonies. Organized evacuations, every civilian loaded safely. Then scenes of those same civilians being settled on new worlds, beautiful locations the Krell had never discovered. The humans did not just rescue us. They found us better homes. They provided resources to build new cities. They gave us time to grow strong while you wasted military resources occupying empty rocks. Those 3 colonies you conquered had nothing valuable. We stripped them before we left. Dr. Ji Woo Choi stood and walked to the center of the room. She placed a data chip on the table. War Chief, this contains complete records of the Human Protection Initiative. For 200 years, humanity has been protecting vulnerable species from aggressive powers. The Krell Dominion is not the only bully in the galaxy, but you are among the most persistent. She activated a massive holographic display that filled the entire room. It showed a network of star systems, all connected by glowing lines. 247 species, 1,012 worlds, all of them protected by humanity in some way. Some we trained, some we armed, some we evacuated, some we simply taught to be clever. Drexen stared at the display. Why? What do you gain? Nothing material, Jiwoo answered. Humans have a difficult time watching the weak suffer. We cannot stand by when bullies exploit those who cannot defend themselves. It is not logical, it is not profitable, it is simply who we are. Minjun stepped forward. Let me tell you about human psychology, War Chief. We evolved on a dangerous world. We survived not because we were the strongest, but because we worked together. We protected our weak. We shared our knowledge. We believed that the group's survival mattered more than individual glory. That sounds like weakness, Drexen growled. Does it? Look around this room. Every species here was vulnerable when you found them. Now they are strong. Not because we conquered them, but because we empowered them. Which strategy produces better results, your domination or our cooperation? A representative from a species Drexen did not recognize spoke up. She was insectoid. with multiple limbs and compound eyes. I am Hive Queen Sang-Mi of the Zephyr Collective. The Krell tried to conquer us 8 years ago. You succeeded for exactly 6 days before human advisors arrived and taught us hive mind tactical coordination. We destroyed your occupation force completely. You never came back. I remember that failure, Drexen admitted. We assumed you had hidden weapons. We had human teachers, more valuable than any weapon, Dr. Choi continued. Every species in this room has a similar story. The Krell Dominion has been operating under false assumptions for decades. You believed you conquered worlds. You believed you received tribute. You believed you were powerful. All of it was theater, War Chief, performance designed to keep you satisfied while the truth happened behind the scenes. Lieutenant Seo Yun Kim, who had been standing quietly at the side, spoke for the first time. We have recordings of every human operation, every training session, every defensive installation, every evacuation, thousands of missions over 2 centuries, all of them successful, all of them secret, until now. Drexen's guards looked uncomfortable. One of them whispered, War Chief, perhaps we should reconsider our position. Silence, Drexen shouted, but doubt was creeping into his mind. The evidence was overwhelming. The testimonies were consistent. Every species he thought he controlled was revealing strength he never suspected. Council Leader Nami spoke again. We wanted to fight you openly 15 years ago. We wanted revenge for our dead. The humans convinced us to be patient. They said that true victory was not destroying the Krell, but making the Krell irrelevant. They were right. Assembly Speaker Kai added, They taught us that visible strength invites challenges. Invisible strength provides security. We let you believe you won while we actually became unconquerable. Now we reveal the truth because you made a mistake. You threatened our protectors. Elder Hana's voice was gentle but firm. The humans saved us. They asked nothing in return. When we offered payment, they refused. When we offered alliances, they said friendship was enough. They are not like you, Drexen. They do not measure success in conquered worlds or tribute collected. They measure it in lives protected and species preserved. Dr. Choi placed her hand on the table. War Chief Drexen, you came to Earth offering protection. But Earth is already the protector. We do not need your security services. These 247 species do not need your security services. What we need is for you to stop threatening peaceful worlds. Minjun walked closer to Drexen. You have a choice to make. This conference is your education. What you do with this knowledge determines what happens next. We are not your enemies, War Chief. We could have destroyed your dominion years ago. We chose not to because we believe in second chances. Even bullies can learn better ways. Drexen looked around the room at all the faces staring at him. Species he thought he controlled. Worlds he believed he conquered. All of them strong. All of them united. All of them connected to humanity. What do you want from me? He asked. And for the first time in his life, War Chief Drexen's voice carried uncertainty instead of command. Captain Hyunwoo Song entered the conference room wearing the simple uniform of the Human Defense Fleet. Unlike the diplomatic corps, his uniform bore no decorations or medals. Most of his missions had been classified. Most of his victories had been secret. That was exactly how he preferred it. War Chief Drexen, Hyunwoo said, his voice calm and professional. I am here to present you with a choice. But first, I want to show you what humanity actually does when we find species in danger. He activated a holographic display that showed a star system under attack. This is the Koran system 18 months ago. A pirate fleet was raiding civilian shipping. The Koran people are pacifists, philosophers, and artists. They had no military. The pirates knew this and exploited it. The hologram showed human ships arriving. Not massive warships, but fast cruisers designed for precision operations. My fleet arrived under the pretense of conducting trade negotiations. We identified the pirate base locations, their supply lines, and their leadership structure. Then we acted. The display showed human special forces teams infiltrating pirate bases. Quick, efficient operations that disabled weapons and captured leaders without massive bloodshed. We did not destroy the pirates. We arrested them and turned them over to proper authorities. Then we spent 6 months teaching the Koran defensive strategies, not how to attack, but how to protect their shipping lanes and deter future raids. Drexen watched the hologram. You did this for free? We did it because it was right. The Koran now have a small but effective defense force. They remain peaceful philosophers, but they can protect themselves. That is the goal, not dependence, but independence. Hyun-woo changed the hologram to show a different system. This is the Talvex refugee crisis 3 years ago. A civil war displaced millions. Refugee ships were dying in space, overwhelmed and undersupplied. Human transport fleets arrived with food, medicine, and temporary habitats. We evacuated civilians from war zones and settled them safely on neutral worlds. Did you choose a side in the war? Drexen asked. No, we saved lives, both sides equally. When combatants tried to attack refugee ships, we stopped them. We did not care about their politics or their grievances. We cared about the innocent people caught in the middle. Another hologram appeared, this one showing a beautiful ocean world. This is Delphini Prime, 16 years ago. Right after the Krell fleet departed, I led the team that made first contact with Council Leader Nami. The hologram showed a younger Hyun-woo meeting with frightened Delphini officials. The scene showed patience and respect, humans listening carefully, asking questions, learning about Delphini culture and capabilities. We did not arrive with weapons and demands. We arrived with teachers and supplies. We asked what they needed. They said they needed to be strong enough that no one would threaten them again. So we taught them. Underwater combat tactics, defensive installations, intelligence gathering, everything they needed to protect themselves. Drexen's voice was quieter now. Why not simply conquer them yourselves? You clearly had the power. Because conquest creates resentment and rebellion. Partnership creates loyalty and friendship. Look at Council Leader Nami now. She is here by choice, defending humanity. Not because we forced her, but because we earned her trust and respect. Dr. Ji-woo Choi stepped forward. Captain Song has led 47 protective operations in his career. Some were military interventions like the Koran pirates. Some were humanitarian missions like the Talvex refugees. Some were training operations like Delphini Prime. Every single one followed the same philosophy. Use strength to protect, not to dominate. Hyun-woo pulled up a personnel file. War Chief, I want to show you someone. This is Colonel Jin Seo-bae. She is currently a liaison officer in the Human Protection Initiative. 20 years ago, she was a warlord who threatened 3 star systems, demanding tribute and resources. Sound familiar? Drexen stared at the image of a human woman in uniform. She was like me? Very similar. Aggressive, confident, certain that strength meant taking what you wanted. Then her fleet encountered a human diplomatic mission. We did not destroy her ships. We talked to her. We showed her that there were better ways to use power. She chose to change. Now she works with us, training reformed warlords and helping them integrate into peaceful society. She is one of our best officers because she understands the mindset of those who choose domination over cooperation. She helps them find better paths. Hyun-woo looked directly at Drexen. You can have the same opportunity. The Krell Dominion has been operating on fear and intimidation. That can change. You can choose to join the protection network. Use your strength to defend the vulnerable instead of exploiting them. Train your warriors to be peacekeepers instead of conquerors. And if I refuse? Drexen asked. Min-jun answered this time. Then the 247 species surrounding your fleet will make their own choices. Some will want justice for the suffering you caused. Some will want to ensure you never threaten anyone again. We will not stop them. We protect the vulnerable, War Chief. We do not protect bullies from consequences. Lieutenant Seo-Yun Kim brought up a tactical display showing the current situation. Your 12 ships are surrounded by 217 vessels. All of them have crews who remember Krell aggression. All of them have been trained by our best military advisors. The tactical situation is clear. Drexen studied the display. His ships were outgunned and outnumbered. Even if they fought brilliantly, they would lose. But something else bothered him more. The look in the eyes of the species representatives. They were not afraid. They were confident. The Krell had built their dominion on fear. These species felt no fear at all. "How long have you been planning this?" he asked. "We were not planning anything," Dr. Choi said. "We have been protecting species and hoping the Krell would eventually stop their aggression on their own. You forced this confrontation by threatening Earth. We simply revealed the truth that was always there." Hyun-woo stepped closer to Drexen. "I have spent my career fighting people like you. Pirates, warlords, aggressive empires. I learned something important. Most bullies are not evil. They are afraid. They believe that appearing strong prevents others from attacking them. They think domination equals security." "Is that not true?" Drexen asked. "No. Real security comes from being so valuable to others that they protect you willingly. The Delphini defend humanity now because we defended them first. The Lithar share their technology because we shared ours. The Verdani would fight to their last breath for us because we gave them second chances when they had none. That is real security, War Chief. Earned through deeds, not demanded through threats." A communication alert interrupted the conference. Drexen's tactical officer Vex appeared on screen. "War Chief, we have a situation. Some of our ships are requesting permission to withdraw. Others are demanding we attack immediately. The fleet is divided on what to do." Drexen closed his eyes. His dominion was fracturing. Some of his warriors saw the truth and wanted to retreat. Others clung to the old ways and wanted to fight. Both groups were losing faith in his leadership. "Stand by," Drexen told Vex. "I will decide shortly." He looked around the conference room again. At the species he thought he conquered. At the humans who had quietly undermined everything the Krell built. At Captain Song, a warrior who chose protection over domination. At Colonel Bay's file, showing that even warlords could change. "What exactly are you offering me?" Drexen asked. Min-jun smiled slightly. "A better future. For you, your warriors, and your people. The Krell are strong. That strength could protect instead of threaten. You could be heroes instead of villains. You could build something lasting instead of something based on fear. And if my warriors refuse, then they stay in Krell space, isolated and contained. But you and those who choose change will be welcomed, given purpose, training, and opportunity. We believe in second chances, War Chief, even for those who have caused harm, especially for them, because they understand what needs to change." Drexen looked at his guards. They were listening carefully, their expressions uncertain. Good warriors following a flawed strategy because no one had shown them alternatives. He thought about decades of conquest, tribute, and intimidation. Then he thought about these humans, quietly protecting hundreds of species while asking nothing in return. Which legacy would history remember more fondly? War Chief Drexen made his choice. War Chief Drexen returned to the Conqueror's Fang and summoned all his ship commanders to a virtual conference. 12 faces appeared on his display, some curious, some angry, all waiting for his decision. "I have reviewed the evidence presented by Earth and their allies," Drexen began. "The Krell Dominion has been operating under false assumptions. The species we believed we conquered were actually protected by humanity. The tribute we received was worthless. Our victories were theater. The humans allowed us to believe we were powerful while they made us irrelevant." Commander Vex nodded slowly. "What are your orders, War Chief?" "I am choosing peace. I am accepting the human offer to join their protection network. The Krell can use our strength for better purposes than intimidation and tribute." Silence filled the channel. Then one of the commanders, a hardened warrior named Krax, spoke with anger in his voice. "This is surrender. This is weakness. The Krell do not bow to inferior species." "The humans are not inferior," Drexen said. "They simply measure strength differently. They have built something we could never achieve with our methods. 247 species trust them, respect them, defend them willingly. How many species truly respect the Krell?" Another commander, Thex, agreed with Krax. "I did not spend decades conquering worlds to become some human student. We should fight, die with honor rather than surrender." "That is your choice," Drexen said calmly. "Those who wish to fight may do so. Those who wish to return to Krell space may leave. Those who wish to learn a better way will follow me. I give every warrior the freedom to decide." The conference erupted into arguments. Some commanders supported Drexen's decision. Others called him a traitor. The Krell fleet was splitting apart, exactly as Drexen expected. Change was never easy, especially for warriors trained in domination. Finally, Drexen ended the conference. "You have 1 hour to decide. Choose your path." 57 minutes later, 4 Krell ships broke formation and accelerated toward Earth. Commander Krax led them, determined to strike at humanity as a final statement of Krell power. They would show the galaxy that the Krell still had teeth. Drexen watched them go and sent a simple message to Commander Minjun Park. "4 ships have chosen defiance. I cannot stop them. They are your problem now." Minjun's response was immediate. "Understood. We will handle it." The 4 Krell ships charged Earth's orbital defenses, weapons charging, ready to inflict as much damage as possible. Then the unexpected happened. They were intercepted not by human ships, but by Delphini war cruisers. Council Leader Nami's voice broadcast across all channels. "Krell ships, this is the Delphini Defense Fleet. You threatened our protectors. You will not reach Earth." The Delphini ships moved with precision, using tactics humans had taught them. They did not destroy the Krell ships immediately. Instead, they disabled weapons, engines, and communications with surgical accuracy. Years of human training showed in every maneuver. Krax tried to fight back, but his ships were outmatched. The species he had once terrorized now defended the species that had protected them. Lithar ships joined the battle, their crystalline hulls absorbing Krell weapons fire, while their own weapons carved through Krell shields. Verdani scouts harassed the Krell from multiple angles, too fast and too small to target effectively. Within 15 minutes, all 4 Krell ships were disabled and drifting. No lives lost on either side. The Delphini, Lithar, and Verdani had proven they could defend themselves and others. Humanity had taught them well. On Harmony's Gate, Drexen watched the battle on tactical displays. Dr. Jiwoo Choi stood beside him. "Your former warriors will be arrested and tried for their attack, but they will not be executed. We do not believe in that. They will be given the opportunity to reform, to change, to become better." "Even after they attacked?" Drexen asked. "Especially then. Punishment without opportunity for growth is just revenge. We prefer redemption." 6 months passed. War Chief Drexen was no longer a war chief. He was now Coordinator Drexen, working with the Human Protection Initiative to reform Krell military culture. It was difficult work. Many Krell warriors resisted change, but slowly, progress happened. Former Commander Krax, after his trial and rehabilitation, began teaching defensive tactics to smaller species who needed protection from pirates. He discovered that protecting others gave him more satisfaction than conquering ever had. Other reformed Krell warriors followed similar paths. The aggressive Krell who refused all change were isolated on their homeworld. Human ships and their allied fleets maintained a peaceful blockade. No trade, no conquest, no expansion. just isolation until they chose better ways. Some Krell on the homeworld were already questioning their leaders, asking why they remained trapped while reformed Krell explored the galaxy and built new relationships. Drexen stood in a training facility on Earth, watching Krell warriors learn peacekeeping techniques from human instructors. One instructor was Colonel Jin Seo Bei, the former warlord who had reformed decades ago. She was patient but firm with the Krell students, teaching them that true strength meant protecting the vulnerable. "It gets easier," she told Drexen during a break. "You stop measuring success by how many you conquered and start measuring by how many you saved. The satisfaction is much deeper." "I am beginning to understand," Drexen admitted. "But some days I miss the simplicity of my old life." "Of course you do. Change is uncomfortable, but look at what you are building now. Real relationships, real respect. That is worth more than any tribute." Meanwhile, on Harmony's Gate, Commander Minjun Park welcomed a new delegation. The Zirathi were an insectoid species, recently threatened by an aggressive power called the Morgath Collective. The Zirathi ambassador, Hive Queen Youre, looked frightened but hopeful. "We heard rumors of Earth's protection initiative," Youre said. "We hoped they were true. The Morgath have given us 30 days to surrender our colony worlds or face invasion." Minjun smiled the same gentle smile he had given the Krell months ago. "Hive Queen Youre, let me tell you what humanity actually does in this galaxy. We do not conquer. We do not demand tribute. We protect those who need protection and empower them to protect themselves." He activated a holographic display showing the network of protected species. 247 species, 1,012 worlds, all connected by mutual support and cooperation. We would be honored if the Zirathi joined us. "What must we pay?" Youre asked. "Nothing. We do not ask for payment. We ask for friendship and the commitment to help others when you become strong enough. The species we protect today become protectors themselves tomorrow. That is how the network grows." Yuna's compound eyes showed relief and gratitude. "The Morgath are very strong. Can you really stop them?" "We have stopped many aggressive powers. Some chose peace, like the Krell. Some chose isolation. Either way, you will be safe. Let me introduce you to some species who can help train your people." Minjun brought in representatives from the Delphini, Lithar, and Verdani. Each explained how humans had protected them from the Krell and helped them become strong. Youre listened with growing hope. Lieutenant Seo-Yun Kim began preparing files on the Morgath Collective, research on their tactics, their weaknesses, their past victims. Within hours, human analysis teams were developing strategies to protect the Zirathi while teaching them to defend themselves. Dr. Ji Woo Choi sent a message to Captain Hyun Woo Song. "New mission. The Zirathi need protection from the Morgath. Standard protocols." Hyun Woo's response was immediate. "Understood. My fleet will be ready in 12 hours. We will handle it." Across the galaxy, the protection network continued its quiet work. Human ships and their allies moved between star systems, always watching, always ready. Pirates were stopped. Aggressive empires were contained. Refugees were evacuated. Vulnerable species were trained and empowered. The Krell Dominion became a case study in successful reformation. Other aggressive powers watched, and some chose to follow the Krell example rather than face isolation. The galaxy was slowly becoming safer, not through conquest or domination, but through cooperation and mutual protection. On Earth, children learned about the Protection Initiative in schools. They learned that humanity's greatest strength was not technology or weapons, but the simple choice to help others. They learned that power without compassion was tyranny, and that true security came from making others strong enough to stand beside you. Commander Minjun Park stood at the viewing window of Harmony's Gate, watching ships from hundreds of species pass by. Delphini, Lithar, Verdani, reformed Krell, and now Zirathi vessels joining the network. Each one represented lives saved, species protected, futures secured. Lieutenant Seo Yun Kim joined him at the window. "Sir, we just received 3 more requests for protection. Small species threatened by various powers. It never stops." Min Jun smiled. "Good. That means they know we are here. That means they have hope. As long as vulnerable species need protection, humanity will provide it. That is who we are. That is what we do." Far across the galaxy, War Chief Drexen, now Coordinator Drexen, watched Krell warriors graduate from peacekeeping training. They would join protection fleets, defending species that once feared the Krell name. He felt something